Hello. We are back again. How you doing? We're going to be jumping into some little different kind of content tonight than we've shown in a while. We're going to be jumping into a couple videos that were made for high school kids and college kids, or not college kids, high school kids, elementary kids, and junior high kids during 1953. Where this fits in the grand scheme of things of what we normally do is this is what's called soft propaganda. So post World War II, they kind of realized that more people were moving into urban areas, into suburbs. They were moving into areas and they were coming from all over the nation. And so what you were seeing were people that had different customs, different traditions, different ethnicities, different religions, all being pushed into the same classrooms. And so America had this idea, the American government had this idea that we need to teach a basic concept of what it is to be a good American, and we need to get that out in the schools. At the same time, they were dealing with communism and the Cold War. And so this idea of creating a basic identity of what an American was really important. And the easiest way to do that was with the new media of being able to show videos in classrooms. So they pushed this soft propaganda. And there's a bunch of these different ones. There's companies that's their whole thing they do is they make soft propaganda and feature it out. And so what we're going to be looking at is a couple of them today. We're going to be looking at Mind Your Manners and the School Board of Safety. Both of them were created with this idea of this is how we want people to grow up and interact and be as Americans. And so as we jump into these, we're going to be stopping and talking about them. There's some things that we're going to notice. There's some historical things we're going to notice, but then there's going to be some specific changes and some specific ways they wanted people to behave that we're going to stop and look at a little bit and talk about. So we're going to jump over here to our first one, which is Mind Your Manners. This is done by Coronet Films, 1953. Also, look how young some of these people are that are like serving the food and things like that. Kind of, what is it, a Dutch themed restaurant there? All the windmills up. People walking around like wooden clogs.
Hi, I'm sorry I'm late, but I ran into Jean here. Oh, Jean, this is Ed Reardon, the Ed I was telling you about. Hello.
How do you do?
And this is Jack Connors. Jean Bassett from over at Morrisville.
How do you do, Jean?
Hello.
Hey there, Caleb. How are you?
Here, you can sit here.
Thank you.
Would you like something, a malt or a soda?
So, again, we're kind of looking at this
A
of
well-mannered group, aren't they?
the standardization
You'll
of
notice
manners.
their good manners right away. Good manners make good first impressions. And because your manners are showing all the time, they have a lot to do with how well people like you. We've noticed Jack's manners because, well, they seem easy and natural. Of course, he does have a special reason for good manners right now. But good manners are comfortable and natural and easy for him now because they're with him all day. All day? Well, let's see.
We'll throw a pause on here. So what we're looking at is we're looking at some what they call soft propaganda from 1953. Again, if you're just joining us. So this one is Mind Your Manners. And again, the whole thing is based around, we had more people moving into the suburbs, into urban areas from other areas. And so several different American committees and groups within the Senate and also committees appointed by the president decided to best way to do it would be standardize what an American is. So they produced these films. This film in particular, Mind Your Manners, produced by Coronet Films, was shown in high schools across the country as a standardization of this is what an American citizen is. And so that's what we're looking at now. And we're going to be kind of examining some of that soft propaganda they throw in there.
Morning,
Jack.
Morning.
Morning, Jack.
Hi.
Morning, dear.
See, a cheerful good morning is a good way to start the day. Good manners will help toward a pleasant, happy day. And home is a good place to practice them.
So we'll go ahead and pause real quick and address that. He was asking if soft propaganda means it's not full of lies. Whether it's soft or hard propaganda doesn't determine how many lies it has in it. So what you're looking at with this is soft propaganda is little small ways of kind of trying to get people to act a certain way. So instead of it being a real hard push on patriotism or a strong hard push on anything political or social, this is all behavioral. And so what they're trying to do is get civic and social conditioning films, behavioral conditioning films, things like that. It's not trying to get you to support a certain political ideology or support a certain idea of government. It's trying to affect your behavior, how you behave in society, and what you think is acceptable civically. There are a bunch of anti-drug ones as well. Recon, the music is very Fallout feeling. It is very Fallout feeling. It's kind of a unique way of dealing with propaganda, and we're going to be looking at some of those. We have everything from how to be safe on a school bus to don't use PCP. And all of them are part of that safe propaganda, or not safe propaganda, the soft propaganda that they were producing in the 1950s. And again, it was a little bit of a battle of the Cold War. If we teach people what we want them to be as good Americans, that's what they'll exemplify out in society, and that's what they'll become.
Some eggs, Dad?
Thanks.
May I have some toast, please?
Yes, dear.
Thank you.
May I? Please? Thank you. These are words of respect. Words that make day-to-day living go smoothly.
Oh, Jack, do you think I could borrow that portable radio of yours for the picnic tomorrow? Please?
Asking to borrow things politely, not demanding them.
All right.
And sharing things when you can are more signs of good manners.
It's about time to get out the storm windows and check them over. How about tonight, Jack?
Gee, I'm sorry, Dad. I have a date tonight. Would tomorrow be all right?
Sure. Just make sure you
Yes,
don't forget.
even when you have to go against another's wishes, you can do it agreeably.
On time this morning.
Being agreeable, saying and doing things in a pleasant way, that's easy enough. And it does make a difference all day long.
We'll go ahead and hit that too. This is 10 years after the baby boom started. So they are kind of looking that we've got a bunch of kids, more than the country's ever had, and it's time to try to get out there and get them to behave right. And if you'll notice, we covered this before in like the proper grooming videos we watched before. Those are in that or the soft propaganda as well. All of the kids going to school are wearing collared shirts, button-down shirts, trying to dress like they were going to work. And that was something that was highly encouraged by the government. They wanted you to show up like you're showing up to business, because they had noticed in rural areas kids would show up in farm clothes and things like that. They wanted them to start dressing for business because they looked at that as another way of effectively changing how their social interactions and things like that would work. And so all of that is incorporated in all of these. So if you're going to have something that's said in this soft propaganda film, it's going to be reiterated or shown them doing it in another, because the whole goal was to show as many of these as you could to students and kind of build upon that.
Ready?
Yeah, just a second. I'll put my jacket on here. Oh, excuse me. I'll get it.
Excuse me, Jack's good manners are showing again.
Jack Connor speaking.
It's helpful to give your name when you answer.
Well, Mr. Moore, I'm sorry. My father just left for the plant a few minutes ago. May I take a message?
Ask him to call me when he comes in tonight.
Yes, I will.
Thank you very much.
I'll tell him. All right, sir. Goodbye.
You can be direct and brief on the phone, say what you have to say, and then stop. For on the phone, too, your manners are showing.
Ready to go?
Waiting for you.
We're going, Mom. Goodbye.
Bye. Oh, bye, Jack. Bye, sis.
See you after school.
Right.
When Jack leaves the house with a lady, it's ladies first. Yes, even with his sister. For on the street, as much as at home, your manners are showing. It's a simple enough matter to give people you meet plenty of room to pass. Good manners again, and they put you in a good light.
And again, it's kind of pushing the same thing. This is what we want to see out of the younger generation.
Mary.
And so they're incorporating it in these
How are you?
videos.
We've missed you.
I'm fine now. No more tonsils, please.
Oh, that's right. You had them out, didn't you?
A cheerful greeting for friends you meet, an inquiry about their welfare, and everyone feels more at ease. That's what good manners do. They make everyone feel at ease. What about manners when the bus comes? That's right, of course. Ladies first, and no shoving or pushing. Inside the bus, you can enjoy the ride and let others enjoy it. Or you can, well, look around. Perhaps the less said about this kind of manners, the better. And this kind. Your manners are showing. And it's good manners that make a good impression.
And again, they're kind of like pushing all these
about
different
getting
things
off the bus. Should
that are in like social etiquette and things like that. And again, it doesn't take a whole lot of this for them to kind of really push this is what they want to see from younger people. And again, it's trying to establish that whole this is the expected norm. And if they can get them to follow that expected norm, then eventually you'll have the whole population doing it as these people are aging up. And so when we're looking at these, that's something that you kind of look at is what are those social norms? What are the things that you're seeing? Because this is where they're a lot of times being introduced is through these videos.
Jack get off first? Yes, he can give the ladies a hand. And girls, let the men help. They enjoy it.
Let the men help. They enjoy it. So again, all these little social cues. There's so much in there. I don't know why I find the phrase "your manners are showing." So that is a very awkward phrase, and you're going to hear that a lot in some of these. We're going to cover a few of them over the next few weeks, jumping into these. But again, we're kind of looking at these, and you're picking up on these little social cues that they're putting in there and how they affect our lives still today.
And no loafing around. Being on time is good manners, too. Are your manners showing when you're in class? Let's see. There's Jack giving the teacher his best attention. Good manners again.
Now, in order to understand Anglo-Saxon England, we must go back many, many years.
Betty, did I tell you later that Jan told me?
This kind of manners shows, too. It's one way to impress the teacher.
All right, we'll continue our discussion now. We were talking about Queen Elizabeth and the coronation. All right, class dismissed.
Say, I noticed you're new in class. I'm Jack Connors.
Hi, Jack. My name's Fred Johnson. Glad to know you.
All right, Fred. See, I thought we might walk around the school here and
Introducing yourself to a new classmate is good manners and easy.
Jack? Say, have you seen the new school paper?
No.
Well, here, you can borrow mine. My sister has one I can use.
An offer of help, willingness to share, and your good manners help make friends for you.
So how they talk may sound slightly, again, a little funny in this. Is they talk like they're already 45-year-old men meeting in a business office. But again, that was what they were trying to push. They were trying to make sure that slang wasn't used because that was something that the military had a massive problem with during World War II. They didn't like the use of slang while people are in uniform. And so looking at it, okay, this is a good way of kind of trying to root out some of that slang of this is how we want people to talk in these educational films being shown to kids that are in school. And it also And I agree. People being late for no reason is awful. But again, we're kind of seeing these social etiquette things being brought in there and what they want to see.
Walking slowly, keeping to the right. More good manners.
Got some nice pictures in there.
Oh, I'll get them.
Can I give you a hand?
No, that's all right.
She'll remember good manners, and that makes Jack rate high with her.
We never had anything like this at our old school.
After school, when it's time for fun, when it's so easy to forget about manners, what about then? Yes, your manners are showing then, too.
Nothing like having a car that can comfortably fit
What are
5
good
people
manners
inside
when
of
you're
it
driving?
back in the day.
Obeying all the traffic laws. Yes, but more than that. You can wait for someone to get across the street, even if you do have the right-of-way. You can drive as quietly as possible. No hanging on the horn or loose mufflers. There are good manners for driving, aren't there? Your manners show in the things you do, in the clothes you wear.
Sis, you're not going yet, are you?
Pretty soon, Jack. Mary's due any minute now.
Well, here's the portable you... Pardon me, sis, but you aren't... Do you think you should go to a picnic dressed like that?
Picnic? Oh, the picnic's tomorrow.
Oh, I guess I misunderstood you this morning. I'll put the radio in your room.
Thanks. Oh, Jack, I am going to a concert tonight. Do you think I look all right?
For a concert? Terrific. Wait a second.
Yes, your manners are showing all day long. You may not know it, but all along...
Okay, we'll answer that one too. Oh no. Loose mufflers cause your car to be louder than they need to be. And so what they're saying is you need to drive as quietly as possible. And if you have a loose muffler, it's going to make a little noise. And oh dear Lord, you can't make noise.
Along the way, your manners leave their mark. At home,
Jack is so kind and thoughtful. It's nice to have him come to breakfast dressed and cheerful.
on the telephone,
That message will be delivered. Fine boy, that Jack Connors. Helpful.
on the street,
There's a pleasant, well-mannered group of young people, not like some.
Okay, I'm gonna be mean. I'm looking at this lady and the only thing I could think is, oh my god, did I leave the oven on with my cats? But apparently she was just thinking good about the people. I'm looking at the weird wispy things around there. She looks like a cat lady to me.
everywhere you go, your manners are with you, and they leave their mark. They help you feel sure of yourself, too, and they make an impression on people, on everyone you meet. We could listen in on Gene's thoughts, for example, but
cars today
well,
can be
take
made to
it
be
from here.
intentionally loud. There you go. Watch it. Your manners are showing. So again, this was a whole thing on manners. The next one is just going to be about school safety committees in 1953. So again, it's soft propaganda. It's still propaganda. Technically, if you look at some of the propaganda that we have today, if you go into bathrooms and you see the wash your hand signs, even though that is good advice to give, it's still propaganda. That's soft propaganda. It's trying to get you to do something. It's trying to affect a behavioral action. And that's one of those things that these films, I don't think anything close to them is shown today, but this would have been shown in homerooms. This would have been shown, especially in home economic classes. It would have been shown in classes where you're going to get everybody together and you're going to put these on. And again, 1953, this would have been kind of a big deal that they're bringing in. At that point, it's probably going to be a projector with some with a film reel and then a side tape deck that goes with it. But these are what is being shown then. And then the school safety one, we're going to jump into it. I wonder how different it will be to modern ones that they'll even mention school shootings. There are ones that mention school shootings, but most of those were filmed in the later 90s, early 2000s, and they are not anywhere near how these are produced. They seem more sensationalized. They're produced by CNN reenactors, because CNN used to have a thing. Now they use CGI and they use AI technology to make the stuff. Back then, they would be like, CNN would come on and say, "This is a reenactment," and they would hire people that normally couldn't act in soap operas to be the actors for them, and they're pretty horrible. These are a little bit better acted than the ones for the school shootings.
Dedicated to the boys and girls of school safety committees, whose services to their schools have resulted in the prevention of countless accidents, the saving of many lives, and in happier, safer school days for their fellow students.
So right there was we showed one earlier about raising the flag and stopping when you see the flag being raised. And again, they're kind of showing that in there. How often do you see that now where if a flag's going up and you're not on a military base? Do people stop and put their hand over their heart or stop and salute as the flag goes up? That was a common thing that was being taught. Hey, you need to stop and give recognition as the flag is going up or coming down. And that's not something really pushed today. It is in color. This is one of the earliest in colors. We're looking at 52, 53. There's a few, very, very few in 51. The big thing that you may not know, and again, this has nothing to do with propaganda or this film, they came out with color video cameras before color was widely used anywhere else. So a lot of shows that you may like were actually shot in color, but shown in black and white. And you've probably only seen them in black and white, because that's how they were originally aired. Because not only did you have to have the ability to send and transmit with them in color, you had to be able to receive and show them in color when you were having them. And so a lot of things were filmed in color, and then no one has ever seen them in color. They just did them in black and white because it was what the average person had. This could be in color because, again, these were on film reels that your school would get. You've probably seen film rolls like this before if you're old enough. They're like the little metal canisters that you'd open up, put it in there, and it would start playing. And there would be a little thing right before this started that said, press play on tape now. And you'd hit play, and it would start playing the recording, or turn on recording now, and you'd put the needle on the record and start. Most of these did not come with sound because the projectors did not produce sound. This, we're just fortunate enough that I don't have to put up a tape deck and hit play or put on my record player and put the needle on when it starts. We have it all together. Pause again real quick. Now that you said the Canadian national anthem, we have some really good Canadian ones to show from 1950s as well, because it was the Safety Commission of Canada in 1950 that produced a really extravagant feature film about safety and work for kids. And it was about farm work and kids. And by God, that is one of the wildest safety films we've ever seen, those kind of PSAs. And it was shown in high schools and elementary schools from 1950 when it was made to about 1961, somewhere in that. And we have a couple videos of those that we can show. So we may have to do that in the next couple weeks.
want to tell you about what happened to me when we moved here and I started at Franklin School. My name's Clifford Adams. There I am on my bike. I'd been to the school the afternoon before with my mother, but you know it isn't easy your first regular day at a new school. You don't know anybody and you don't know exactly what to do. Just as I was going to ride into the schoolyard, this boy stopped me. He asked me if I'd walk my bike on the school grounds. That way I wouldn't be taking a chance of running into anybody. I found out later his name was Alan Smith. He seemed to be in charge. He told me how all the boys and girls stop and salute the flag on their way to school. Franklin School sure seemed different than my old school. It seemed like every place there was a chance for an accident or any trouble. There was a boy or girl to remind us of safe practices. Alan's job was to tell the bike riders that it's safer to walk their bikes on the grounds and to park them in the racks out of the way. If they were just standing or lying around, somebody might fall over them and get hurt. A girl was helping at the drinking fountain. That way everybody has a fair chance to get a drink. I didn't want to be late that first morning, so when I heard the first bell, I ran from my room. That was wrong, too. There was another boy with an armband here. He said his job was to help us use the entrance safely. He told me it's safer not to run through the halls or to take a chance on bumping into anyone else at a corner or in a hall.
So before we go further into this one, you'll kind of notice one of the first things to say is he's transferred into the school because that's what they were seeing, people coming into these urban environments and trying to blend them in, and that's what this was made for. Caleb, are you talking about the... Yep, that's the one I was thinking you're talking about. So there are two that it could have been. One is a Canadian film about the police officers and the occult, because for some reason, both in the United States and Canada, there was this weird fear that cults were running daycares and running all these things in the community and endangering children. And then the other one is policing and drugs. And the one you're talking about, I remember it, but there's also one on drugs where at the very end of the video, they have to get this person who is on acid or some form, LSD or PCP, some form of hallucinogenic drug, and they flip a car, and the police have to shoot him, and it ends with the guy reaching the police officer, and it pops up, "What would you do?" And it was a absolutely insane video, and it was a bumbling police officer. It followed the whole time, like he always made the wrong choice, and it was it had to come out in 1980s, maybe 1978 or 79 in Canada. It's a really good one as well. It's one that we've looked at playing before, but we've not put it up because I don't have a real good connection to it to anything else.
I was getting kind of mixed up. And then Miss Allen said hello to me. I asked him what was going on. Who were these boys and girls who seemed to help run the whole school? Allen said they were the members of the school safety committee. I didn't even know what it was. So Allen explained how it works. Girls and boys are chosen each semester to serve on the safety committee. They represent their rooms and wear badges and help keep their school safe. Then I asked Allen about the band on his arm. He said the boys and girls who wore those had special jobs, like at the bike rack and in the halls and raising the flag. Then guess what? Allen said there was a safety committee meeting that day and asked me if I'd like to come and watch, if I could get permission from my teacher. Would I?
Unfair asking the Canadian, but I'll ask those that are U.S. citizens. Do you notice there that they had the change on the Pledge of Allegiance? That happened later than this. So one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And they added that line, "One nation under God," after this was done. And I'm sure Historic Opossum can pull up some great facts on when that was added and who helped add that.
I got permission, and Alan and I went to the meeting together. After
The audio is really low. There's nothing I can do about it. This is as cranked up as I can get this audio. If you go any higher, it starts cracking really, really badly. This film was preserved in a very bad state, even though we got the color. The sacrifice was the audio. And so I tried to bring it up as much as I could without losing too much. That's the reason you're hearing a little bit of quiver in his voice. In its original version, the audio is so quiet it's almost impossible to hear.
The flag salute, the president, a girl from my room, called the meeting to order. It was swell. The officers really did run the meeting, too. Whenever the principal, Mr. Andrews, or the safety sponsor, Mrs. Beck, wanted to say anything, they had to be what they call recognized by the chairman, just like everybody else. That's the way our whole country is run. Government of the people, by the people, for the people. The people pick their president and senators and representatives. Then they all worked for us in Washington, just like the safety committee.
So the audio is not worse because it's in color. It was just preserved really, really badly. And that's part of what we do here is we try to pull out some of these videos that maybe weren't preserved the best, bring out as much of them as we can and have them filmed. Like a lot of our private snafus that we play, some of them are in real rough shape and we have to do what we can to get them in good enough shape so we can show them to you. So the color was preserved, and that's what I was saying was a positive. The negative is the audio was so badly preserved on this that it made it a little difficult to hear, but I feel like we got it to a volume that if you've not seen this one before, and you don't mind hearing me talk every once in a while, you can watch this video in a way that you may not be able to find anywhere else.
He works for us at school. Next, the president said it was time for the subcommittees to meet. These are the boys and girls who work on the same type of jobs like raising the flag, or on the playground, or in the halls. Billy Nelson is on the playground committee. During recess, he helps the other boys and girls to play without getting hurt or hurting anybody else. The rest of the playground committee have jobs like Billy's, too.
What a horrible job for a kid. Instead of playing during recess, your job is to teach other people how to play safely.
In their meeting, they talked over how to keep the playground safe. Carol Thomas was on the Hall and Entrance Committee. They have charge in the halls to see that boys and girls don't get hurt by running or bumping into each other on the wrong side of the hall, watching out for doors and things like that. After a while, the chairman said the subcommittee meetings were over. She asked the chairman to report. Most of them just told about their jobs and what their committees were doing.
I'll say this one's being run better than most nonprofits run meetings today, where the subcommittees break off during the meetings and go have their subcommittee meetings and then come back and give a report from their committees. I understand what you're saying. There's always that one kid. I remember being in elementary school back in the day, and you'd have that one kid that stand up front would be in charge if the teacher was out, and they could write your name on the board if you acted up when the teacher wasn't in the room and make a check mark or whatever they were going to do. There's always some kid that wants to abuse that power and then later grows up and becomes a rent-a-cop or whatever they end up becoming.
Then they'd sit down. But when they got to Carol's committee, she said they had a problem. They wanted the whole safety committee to discuss it and help them out. You see, Carol said, some boys and girls had been running to get in the ice cream line. They all talked it over and decided the committee members should go back and discuss it with their classes. They voted to have Mrs. Beck put it in the school safety bulletin, too. She said she would. Donald Kopensky has a very important job. He's chairman of the bus committee. You know, a lot of boys and girls live quite a ways from school. They ride on a bus, and Donald acts almost like a conductor. He helps the driver, Mr. Coronet, on the way, too, by reminding everybody of the bus safety rules. That way, Mr. Coronet can give more attention to his driving. So you can see how important the safety committee is at our school. A little later, the president called on my new friend, Alan. You see, when the school gets new safety posters, Alan explains them to the committee. Then Alan gives them to the room representatives, and they take the posters back to their classes and discuss them. Just before the end of the meeting, they all stood up and recited the safety pledge. Then the president adjourned the meeting.
One of the things you'll notice, they talked about how that's how government runs and things like that. This is also how a lot of the civic organizations run. And there was a big push. There's a whole separate video on trying to get people to join civic organizations that they showed in the schools. Well, that's where you start getting the Moose and the Elks and the Eagles, the American Legion, the VFW, the Masons, and all these other civics groups. And part of the big push was if people were involved in civics groups, they typically did more in their community to assist and build their community to be a better place. And so the civics groups all kind of pushed as well into these films of, we need to show how the proper procedures in that worked. And back in the day, they were taken very seriously. I know I've been to some civics groups recently that are a little less organized than this, and maybe doesn't quite get the hang of it. But it's showing right here that even elementary kids can get the basic gist of how it goes, and so it shouldn't be that hard.
I sure liked it. I was beginning to think this school was really swell. We watched television quite a lot at our house. When the bell rang, I knew who it was. I'd asked Alan to come over to my house that night and meet Mom and Dad. He was a swell guy. I sure liked him. My folks did too. I asked Alan to explain to Dad about the safety committee. He was sure interested. Alan told him how the
So was that a big thing in the 50s side? Everything went by committee. It was, because back in the 50s, you're looking at civic organizations that were swelling in numbers. I know the VFW, I think, was several million strong. Most of the posts, you're having 30, 40, 50, 60 members. Some of them had up in the thousands of members. But a lot of the things that you would see, I don't know, it's got to be the same in Canada. You would have your parades and things like that weren't put on by your towns. Almost all of that was put on by your civic organizations. Your dances, I know a lot of towns would have dances or would have movies or would have a bunch of different activities. And people are like, oh, why don't they do that today? Well, it's not because your town doesn't do it today. It's because there may not be the civic organizations in your town to continue doing those. But that was a big thing, was people typically joined at least one civic organization, along with if they were working or whatever else they were doing, because you didn't have as much entertainment in your home necessarily. You didn't have as many other things distracting you from it. You didn't have that kind of stuff. So if you wanted interaction, you wanted to be involved in stuff, the only way to really do it was to go and be part of these organizations. And that's one of the things that's the challenge today. That's the reason our VFW helps sponsor us putting on Mission 4938, which is these videos that we do, doing the stuff on Facebook, doing the stuff on YouTube and Twitch and TikTok. And it's because there needs to be a new way of organizing and getting involved with people and building bridges across multiple different communities and multiple different generations and ethnic groups and everything else. And so that's why we're kind of pushing into this electronics day and age with this kind of stuff. But a lot of civics groups kind of have fallen in the past on this. They're still kind of relying on that 1950s, 1960s mentality that people will just show up and volunteer. And so that's why there's a big change. But yes, that it was a big thing that you had committees. And if you have a group of 700 people that are all part of the same organization, you're going to have to break down a lot of things into committees just so it doesn't get unruly. And that's kind of where they were teaching this stuff, was committees and subcommittees and all that kind of stuff.
Boys and girls are chosen on the committee. He said the idea was to help all the boys and girls think about safety and develop safety habits that will last all their lives. Then Dad told us something we didn't know. He said the big airplane factory where he works has a safety committee, just like ours at school. He said the men on the committee are the leaders. They wear safety badges like ours, too, and remind the other men how to avoid accidents and how to be safety-minded all the time. Just think, a committee like ours. You know, I decided right then I was going to get on our school committee. You know something? I made it the next semester. All the members of the old committee got certificates of merit, but I was pretty proud of my friend Dallin. He got something else, an honor award for outstanding achievement. That was because the safety sponsor, Mrs. Beck, thought he'd done such a fine job.
So there we go. So up in Canada, you do have some, like you have the Royal Canadian Legion, I believe is one of the civic committees up there. You're looking at, I think you have the Masons up there. You have, you guys have a lot of the same ones. You have the Elks, you have the, you don't have the Eagles like we do, but you have the Elks, you have the Moose, you have a bunch of those. So you do have some of the same ones, and just over time they've kind of fallen down in importance in some places. The Knights of Columbus is another one. But you have different groups like that, and that's what all of them kind of come from, the Canadian Cancer Society, groups like that. They're all the same kind of thing.
Mr. Andrews, the principal, told us all about how important a job we had to do. He said more kids from 1 to 14 years old are killed every year in accidents than die of all the worst diseases. By thinking, talking, and acting safely, we will be helping others and learning safety habits that will last all our lives. I felt pretty proud as we all stood up and got ready to give the safety pledge. I will work for the safety of others, and I want them to work for my safety. I will be careful all the time, everywhere. I will take no unnecessary chances of hurting myself or others. I will in no way cut my own
Unfortunately, the audio is so bad it just sounds like Children of the Corn in the background. I can't make out any of the words. So that is the School Safety Committee. We're going to be doing a few more of these soft propaganda films and covering some of them going forward from here. But we just kind of wanted to get into it and kind of get a good introduction to some of these early on soft propaganda films before we get into some of the harder ones. We have some a little more difficult ones coming up that are going to be getting into the first real anti-racism propaganda film. And then we're going to get into some anti-alcohol ones because during this time, 1953, at least in the United States, it was legal to drink and drive as long as you weren't drunk. And so they started pushing forward, and some states didn't ban it until the 1970s. But there was a big push to ban drinking alcohol and driving down the road before that, and these films kind of helped pave the way. But they also had some other meanings in there, and getting into some anti-communism stuff that they had slipped in. But then we're going to get into some stuff from there. We're going to get into some what they would consider hard propaganda, which is that true? Because there was, back before I went to vaccines were invented, so a lot of people were dying from diseases. Absolutely. A lot of people, I've got to spend some time in some foreign countries on humanitarian missions, that you would have a lot of children who were dying from diseases that in the United States are absolutely not a thing. So yeah, 1953, you're starting to see a lot more vaccines coming in, and a lot of, like, this would have been the age of smallpox vaccines coming in. So you're looking at, prior to this, there were a lot of kids dying from diseases, but in this time they were starting to get a lot more vaccines and things like that. But in some countries, you're still seeing massive amounts of deaths from very preventable diseases. But we're going to get into some harder propaganda here a little bit later in June and July, and then we're going to kick over into something else a little different to celebrate the New Year coming in. We're already starting to build up our stuff for Halloween as well. I've got a couple really good videos for Halloween to go along with our propaganda watch-alongs. So we're going to be kicking off into there, but that's what we had for tonight. We're just going to start showing off some of the propaganda films again and talking about them. Keep your eyes open for the propaganda you see, because there's still propaganda today, even though you may not see it as propaganda or think about it that same way, but it's still there and it's still prevalent. And the easiest way to kind of spot it is to look at the stuff in the past that are more obvious, and eventually you'll start seeing it around you everywhere you go. But until next time, stay strong, stay true, stay Frankie. We will see you tomorrow for Recon Sarge Fallout 4.